All right. So now let's talk about Hive installation. Okay. So I expect you to have Java 8 in your machine. Okay. And we will go and pick up a Hive recent version and we will install Hive in our Ubuntu. Right. So what all we have till now is we have a Ubuntu system wherein we have installed Java 8. Right. We have installed Hadoop and now we will install Hive. So if you have installed Java 11, then I would suggest you to roll back to Java 8 because right now the recent version of Hive, whatever is given, they don't support Java 11. Okay, so if you want to work with the recent version of Hive, then you'll have to fall back to JDK 8, right? So I expect you guys to go back and roll back your Java 8, Java 11 to Java 8 if you do not have Java 8 and continue the process of this Hive installation. Okay, so now let me go back to the screen and I'll quickly jump to the document and we will go to this document step by step and learn how do you set up your Hive in your machine very fast. Okay, so I'll go to screen share and share it and let me go to, so we have all the document for Hadoop 1, Hadoop 2 and Hadoop 3, right? And I'll provide you all these things, but we are now basically focusing on installing Hadoop 3, right? Installing Hive in Hadoop 3. Whenever you need to install any ecosystem component, I would suggest you create a centralized folder. Create a centralized folder and let us have all the ecosystem together there itself. Okay. Let's go and follow the document. Okay. So that it will be easy and you don't miss any point at all. All right. So I'm going to use the environment. What we are going to use is Java 8, which we already have, and Hadoop 3.3.0, which we have already installed, and we will use Hive 3.1.2, the recent Hive version. Okay, and I have told you that this does not support JDK 11 as far as till now. Okay, it may support tomorrow, but not really right now. Okay, so let's move on. So download Hive Latest from your home page. So go to the official website and download Hive from there. So let me click on it, Chrome, and say Hive download. Right, so this is the first thing you should do, Hive download, and click on download Apache Hive. Okay, and you will see a lot of stuff here. Just click on download a release now. Okay, and yes, now you get these mirrors. Okay, these are called mirrors. These are called URLs from where you can download all your software, but these mirrors are not fixed, they may change accordingly. Okay, so let me click on it. Okay, so we are in this place where we have a Hive, and from here you can choose whether you want to install Hive 1 or Hive 2 or Hive 3, right? So they are all for particular versions. So if you are by mistakenly working with Hadoop 1 still, then you can go ahead and use 1.2.2. Okay, if you are working with Hadoop 2, you can use Hadoop 2. Some version. If you're working with Hadoop 3, you can choose Hive 3. Some version, and this version number may change accordingly, right? Okay, so right now the recent version whatever is available is 3.1.2. Click on it, and here you will see two things. One is binary and the other one is source. So binary has all, like you will have to download this binary because this is where you can install. This is what you can install. Okay, so we are in this Hadoop Hive location, right? So from here you can choose whatever you want, and I'm going to 3.1.2, and we have to download this. Okay, so you can click on this and it gets downloaded. One thing, right? This is how you can download this. Otherwise, what you can do, right click and say copy link address. Okay, right click and say copy link address. Once you have copied this, you go back and keep it here. You go back and keep it here. Okay, all right. So this is how you will be basically able to download Hive from internet, right? From the official website. Now there is one more way. You can say Apache dist. Okay, you can say Apache dist, which will give you a folder which contains all the Apache softwares all together, right? And this can be used as a one-stop place from where you can download anything, whatever you are actually dreaming of. Okay, so Apache dist, and click on this Apache distribution, right? And you will be taken into this place. Okay, so without going to that Hive location and all, you can directly come here and then collect everything from here also. That will also work. So let me go more down. See here, these are all the product from Apache. These are all the product from Apache. So whatever we were talking about in the ecosystem component, you'll find most of them are here. Okay, so like if you say NiFi, if you say Apache Crunch is also there. Where is that? Apache crunch is also there, right? And then you have Apache Flume, right? You have Apache Hadoop, you have Apache Avro, and so many things, Ambari, right? And Airflow, and so many things. So you can get everything here. No need to individually go and Google it out and then get them from the individual website. That is really not required. You can get everything over here. So now here I'll just say find Hive, right? And just go to the next, and here we go. We have a Hive here. Click on it. Okay, and you are taken to this directory where you can see 1.2.2, 2.3.7, and 3.1.2, and here you can see a lot of other things. Now which one to choose? The one with the maximum size. Very simple, right? So if you see bin.tar.gz, the one with the maximum size is what you would be basically choosing. So you can copy this link, copy link address, or you can click on it and it gets downloaded. That also can be done. And let's go back here. And for the time being, let me just paste it here. Okay. And I just wanted to see which is, I just wanted to check if they are pointing to the same URL or not, but they are not, right? So this is from Apache official website, and this is basically from XYZ mirror websites. So anything is okay because both of them are going to give you the same thing. Okay, so I would prefer using this approach. Get everything from the central place and your work will be all easy. Let's move on. So now what we will do is we will create a folder called ecosystem. Okay, so I'll go back here. So let's create a folder called ecosystem under home SD user, right? So I'll just copy this command and I'll say mkdir/home SD user ecosystem. Done. Next, now I will get into that ecosystem folder. Let me change the directory to ecosystem. So I'll say cd mkdir ecosystem. Done. Next, now let me download the Hive software from either of these two URL, right? So the command would be wget followed by that URL. Now in the meanwhile, you can browse from here also. Go to other location, or you can directly say home, and under your home you'll get this ecosystem. Okay, and here your Hive is getting downloaded and it's downloaded perfectly. Done. Next. Now when you are downloading, just check what is the version you are downloading. Okay, if you are downloading 3.1.2 version, then you have to make sure that you are using a proper version number here, right? So now I will say extract the Hive GIF file, whatever was downloaded, right? And I'll go back here and I'll say paste. Make sure that you take the version appropriately, 3.1.2, 3.1.2. Tomorrow if you get 3.2.0, then you should change this version number exactly. Okay, so this will extract that into a folder called Apache Hive 3.1.2_bin. Done. Next, now we will create a symbolic link. Okay, we will create a symbolic link, which means I want to say, hey, give me a folder called Hive which will point to this particular file. Okay, which will point to this particular file. So we have created a symbolic link, and then once the symbolic link is created, you can happily remove this GIF file whatever was added. Okay, so I can then say rm this Apache gz file, because you've already extracted it, and now there's no point even keeping them up, right? So you can just say rm apache tar.gz. Done. So you have extracted folders, you have extracted that into a folder, and then you have created a symbolic link out of it. You are all good to go. All right, next, now what you need to do is you'll have to go to your _𝗏𝑟𝑐 file. okay, /home/user sduser.bash.rc file, and you will have to configure your Hive. Okay, you will have to configure your Hive like this. So I'll just go to my bash.rc, copy, paste. Yeah, so all you need to do is you need to add these two lines. Okay, and then say escape :wq. Done. So what is the meaning of these two lines? Let's see. See, this is just like declaring, creating a variable. Okay, I'm saying I want to create a variable called Hive_home, which will point to /home sduser ecosystem Hive. And if you see here, we have used the symbolic link name, right? We have not used Hive 3.1.2 anytime. The reason why I did not do that is, if I give here the version number, then every time the version number changes, I'll have to revisit this .bashrc, and I'll have to make the changes accordingly, which I really don't want to do. Okay, and that is the reason we have changed this. We prefer using the folder name Hive, the shortcut name, instead of giving the version number directly. Okay, so this is just a variable declaration. Now the next line is export path equal to path hive home/bin. Now see, all the commands whatever you will be using on your Hive, they are present inside your bin folder. So let me go here, Hive. Inside that there is a bin folder, and here you have all the commands like Hive, beeline, Hive server 2, right? And I want these commands to be visible throughout the system, right? And that is why we are setting the path. Okay, that is why we are setting the path, and we are saying export path equal to the current value of path whatever you have, because current value of path has lot many things, Hadoop and all other stuff, right? On this you append all the executable files from Hive home bin folder. Okay, that is the meaning of it. If you don't want to write these two lines, what you can do is you can simply copy this. Okay, this line, and just replace it here. You can also do that, but I will not suggest you to do that, because many times many software expect you to configure something called tool_home, like Java_home, Hive_home, Kafka_home, Scoop_home, right? So many times many tools expect you to configure that, and that is what we have to follow. Okay, so these two lines will make sure that your Hive is set to your build path, to your I would say class path, and not class path, your path, which is basically the environment variable, and they will be accessible from any place. Done. Now, if you have not configured these details in your maps red_site.xml, you should also configure this. Okay, so like if you go to my recent Hadoop installation document, I will have them added. But if I have not added them for any reason, then you must configure these three properties in your map red_site.xml. And if you don't do so, then you will face some problem while executing the query. Okay, and the Hive will say, hey, you should basically configure this environment as well. Okay, so you'll have to definitely go back and configure this in your XML file, map red_site.xml, right? So I've already given the command. All you need to do is just say vim and let me go here and just say sudo vim, enter, give your credential, and then just go down and check if you have those property or not. If you do not have that property, press I insert mode and then paste it, and then escape :wq the way you have done, and it should be set. Okay, done. Next, let's move on. Now the next thing is Hive uses Hadoop, so make sure that you must have Hadoop in your path, or export Hadoop form equal to Hadoop installation directory. We have already done that, so this would be just a checklist. You don't really have to do anything on it. Now the next thing is start your Hadoop. Okay, so either you can use start_dfs.sh and start_yarn.sh, or you can say start all.sh directly. That will also be okay. Okay, so let me say jps, and you can see all of them are actually in the running mode. So now what you need to do is you need to create a directory warehouse in your /user Hive, and this is your all SDFS command, right? Which means they will create the directory in your SDFS. So just go back to this place and say paste and hit enter. Done. Now you create another directory called /tmp/hive. Done. Now you give all the permissions to temp hive and warehouse folder. Okay, do this for everything. Done. Okay, so far we have created all the necessary directory in your SDFS, and we have given all the necessary permissions so that we don't have any problem. Okay, now the next thing is there is a problem with the log4j given by Hive installation. So we'll have to get rid of it. Okay, we'll have to get rid of it because there is a log4j which is already given to us by Hadoop, and there is a log4j which is given to us by Hive, and somehow they have some sort of conflict, and that again gives us some issues. So we just have to make sure that we get rid of this log4j sl4j impl. Okay, but I don't want you to follow this very blindly. So what we will do next is let's go and try doing this. Okay, so let's go and try doing this. Now what I'll do is I'll go back here and let me close this terminal. I'll open a new terminal. Okay, I'll open a new terminal and let's try doing this. Okay, now see here we got some exception, and that is what you will get. You'll get this exception whenever you try to do this for the first time. Okay, so it says class path contains multiple SL4J bindings, which means I got SL4J from Hadoop, I got SL4J from Hive as well. Okay, which one should I choose? See here, this is pointing to Hive. Okay, and this is pointing to Hadoop. So it's saying I got two SL4J, you tell me which one to choose for, right? So this is a big problem. Now what should we do is we should get rid of one of such SL4J. So I would prefer deleting it from Hive and not from Hadoop. Okay, so now the next thing is what you should do is immediately you should go here and say we have to get rid of this log4j sl4j impl given by your Hadoop, given by your Hive, not by your Hadoop, right? So the first thing is just say ls. Okay, just say ls. So I'm saying ls /home sd user ecosystem Hive lib folder, tell me what kind of version is available, right? So it's saying 2.10.0. there is only one jar file. Okay, so if there is only one jar file, you can just say rm here, right? Because it is going to delete only that particular jar file. But be very cautious and don't go ahead and just say rm without even inspecting how many jar files are there. It is possible that in the coming version you may have something very similar, log4j hyphen sl4j 2 or 3 or whatever it is, and then you may end up deleting that also. Don't do that mistake. Okay, so be very cautious. Done. Now this will solve one problem. Okay, and then let us try to do the same thing again. We will try to execute the same command again. I'll tell you what exactly this command does, but right now let's just try to execute the same command again, and let's see what happens next. Okay, now see that error is gone, multiple binding error is gone, but now we end up with a new problem saying that exception in thread main java.lang.no such method error, right? And it is saying Google common base precondition.check argument this and that or what not, right? So let me tell you what is the problem here. The problem is there is some mismatch or incompatibility in one of the jar file which is installed, which is given to us by Hive. That is another big problem. Okay, and which one is that? I'll tell you. That is basically from 𝗂𝗏.jar. Okay, so Hive has given us a 𝗂𝗏.jar which contains some classes which are outdated, and you must get a new 𝗂𝗏.jar for you. Okay, so what we will do is let us see how many 𝗂𝗏.jar is present. Say paste. Okay, only one 𝗂𝗏.jar is present, but if I do something like this, you'll see there are two 𝗂𝗏 jars are present because I said star. Then it will list you all, right? So you should not make a mistake of saying RM because it will delete all of both of them, and you don't know what is the side effect of it, right? So this I know will give me one 𝗂𝗏.jar, so I can just say RM. But be very very careful, right? If you are not confident, don't say star, just go and say rm this particular file. Okay, that it will also be okay. All right, done. Next, once you've deleted that jar, now you have to download the latest guava.jar and upload that into your lib folder. Okay, upload that into your lib folder, hive home lib folder. So from where to download? Maven repository, right? So I'll go back here and I'll say Maven repository, right? And click on it and just say 𝗙𝗲𝗴𝗶, right? Now click on this and you'll find a lot of guava jars. So what I can see is like Hive was using 19. Okay, Hive was using 19, which was launched in 2015, and that is where some one or other problem is there, right? So now what we have to do is we'll just have to replace it with a better uh, jar file. Okay, so I will go and I'll put the recent one, whatever we have currently. So 30.1 underscore JRE, right? So go to this place, and from here you can click on this bundle, and that will get downloaded, right? And you can say keep. Okay, now that is downloaded and I have already kept it here. It's the same jar file, jre1.jar. The one is basically because I've downloaded it second time. So this is the same jar file. All you need to do is copy this. Okay, copy this, and then let's go back and paste it on your Hive, right? So I'll go to my ecosystem. So I'll go to home, I'll go to ecosystem, I'll go to Hive, and then I'll go to lib folder, which contains all the libraries, and right click and say paste, right? So I've added my guava new version of file. Okay, done. So next, let's move to the next, and now we will try to do the same thing again. We will say initialize the schema. Okay, so let's see what it does. Done, successful. Okay, so we have successfully installed Hive and we are ready to go. But let's go through the document again if we have anything more to do. Okay, done. This is done. So if at all you get any exception like nucleus 𝗥𝗡 already exists, something like that, so what you should do is, see, I have executed this command under desktop, right? This is the command which I have executed in my desktop, and when you do so, then you basically by default get metastore.db. Okay, and if you get any such exception like that, I would say delete this file, delete this folder. Okay, as well as you can delete this log file. Okay, and try it again, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is whenever you execute this command, you'll always end up with a metastore_db folder. We will talk about this in detail in the coming days, but right now just understand that when you do this, then it creates a folder called metastore_db, right? And if you have initialized that properly, then you should not have any problem. Okay, so and you should see them all succeeding. All right, now I would also recommend you that you go to your 𝗙𝗏𝘁.xml and have this property configured. Okay, so description you can remove, but you must have this key and value pair. So you should go to your 𝗙𝗏𝘁.xml, okay, and say Hadoop, okay, and say insert, and then right click and say paste, and say escape:\wq, saved. Okay, so I want you to make sure that you also have these properties, and if you don't have this property, then you will get a problem whenever you try to execute a simple query like select maximum salary from employee table. You'll get into a problem like this. Okay, so having said this, I have done everything whatever is mentioned in the document, and then finally let's log into our Hive. So okay, so I'll go here and I'll say Hive. All right, so this is how the Hive will come, and it says Hive on MapR is deprecated in Hadoop 2 and may not be available in the further version. We will look into this. How do you change the execution engine later? Okay, but right now we are we are successful in installing a Hive and we have a Hive terminal. Okay, now I know that everybody has worked on SQL queries, right? So whenever you launch your SQL, you basically get SQL prompt, is not it? Now you can assume this as your SQL prompt. Here you write your query, and your query will be converted into MapReduce job, and that would be executed by your framework, is not it? That will be executed by your Hadoop framework. So this is your Hive terminal. Okay, now there are more explanation, like what if you get some sort of errors, do this and that and so on. So that's all we have from the Hive installation guide. So if you follow this guide properly, then you should be able to install Hive without any problem.